What's good, everybody? It's your boy back with another reaction video. I will be reacting to four creepy, true scary situation horror stories. I've been trying to get to these for a week. I got a few more that I'm gonna do, but finally, that I'm inside for a while, I can get to them. I think I had like 4 or 5 more videos. I was editing Superman Red Sun, which I watched that probably 3 weeks ago. I forgot I recorded myself watching it until I was going through my documents and I was like, oh shit, I forgot I reacted to that. So I started editing it, and that took forever. So then I decided to cut it up in 2 parts because I don't want to condense this down to the reaction part at 10 minutes. So stuff mess up. Take that. Come on. I have my charger in there. Sometimes it fucks up the camera when it's in there. Sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why. But anyway, yeah. I reacted to that, recorded. I didn't feel like cutting it down, the whole reaction part to 10 minutes. So I chopped up in 2 parts. But the first video has already been blocked. So I did like the last, I think, 20 seconds or something. It was about, I think it was a part I forgot to cut out. Or I cut it, but I didn't cut it far enough apart so it looks too much like one scene. So they was like, nope, this ain't gonna work. So I've edited that on YouTube, and so it's being edited. It's being, you know how to edit. If you ever edit anything on YouTube, when you do it, it takes, I think, like a few hours or something for it to take effect. But rather than taking the video down, re-edit it with my own software and then putting it back on there, re-uploading it. I'm gonna be wiping my eye a lot. Don't worry, my hands are clean. But, because as eyelashes bother me and I can't get it. It's not in my eye, but it's like touching my other eyelashes. This is bugging the fuck out of me. Anyway, let's get into this. Hopefully my camera doesn't die. Damn. I might have to get another camera. Anyway, without further ado, here we go.
No crickets chirping, no tree frogs, no wind blowing, nothing. Besides me breathing, and then I saw it.
Oh, I was like, what the hell was that? It sounded like it was far away, but it was only in this area. That was this. I like that. Oh shit. Alright. It's kind of solid. So my friend made back in like 2000.
This happened 2 years
Used to
ago.
make beats.
My name is James, and my girlfriend at the time was Susie. Susie and I got into an argument about a girl. She was just texting me about the edibles. The girl just wanted to know who had edibles and the prices on them. I remember I used the bathroom, and after I came back to the living room, I saw Susie on my phone, and she looked angry. She started asking questions about the girl. Regular questions. Am I cheating on her? Is she pretty? The most disturbing one was,
She pretty. It sounded like you
if she
insecure.
was right here, right now, would I kiss her?
Oh my god. Are y'all teenagers?
That was the PG version of what she really asked.
Oh, okay. I was like,
I told her she texted me about edibles, and besides that, the girl doesn't even like guys. But I don't think my girlfriend knew that. So we continued to argue for about 20 minutes. I started to say this is stupid, and I remember looking at
Miami?
It was 11 p.m. Since she was staying over that night, I told her we should just stop fighting.
Y'all don't even live together?
Some sleep or watch a movie.
Is she questioning you like
agreed
this?
and
Man?
turned on a movie. We were watching Don't Be a Menace in South Central while drinking a
Just
juice.
these are definitely black people.
I noticed she was on her phone typing fast and just really involved in her phone. Every time I leaned in a little closer to see what was going on, She would always move her phone away and just give me a cold shoulder.
Okay, it's time for this bitch
We
to get
continued
out.
watching the movie until I heard somebody at my door.
She gonna text her
I said, I
brother
wonder
or
who
some
that could
shit.
be at this time.
Cousin.
Again, I looked at the clock, and now it was 1 in the morning. My mom was in her room asleep, but after she heard the doorbell, she woke up asking who that was. I told her I didn't know, but I was going to find out. So as I started going to the door, I heard whispering from my girlfriend, like she was on a phone or something. I didn't really pay attention to it, so I finally got to the door and I looked through the peephole. I was met with some tall dude, wearing mostly all black. I talked to him through the door, and I asked him, "What do you want?" He replies with, "I'm just here to drop off a package. Sorry I'm late."
Get the fuck out of here.
Who delivers a package at 1 in the morning? So I told him to leave, and he could come back some other time
Yeah.
and deliver the package. He said no,
No.
in a deep, commanding voice. Just in that moment, my ex-girlfriend Susie comes walking towards me with a grin on her face. She says to me, "So you're really not going to tell me who that girl was texting you?" I explained that she wasn't anybody, and I didn't know her like that. And this is the wrong time to be asking me a question like that when there's somebody at the door I didn't know. To this day, what she said still gives me the chills, just thinking about it. She said, "The guy at the door, he's here to get rid of you." At first, I gave out a nervous laugh and said, "That's not funny." She said, "Yeah, it is. Well, at least for me it is." As this was going on, the guy at the door kept messing with the door handle, trying to get in. So I was leaning up against
Who the fuck
door,
is this dude?
preventing him to come
She
in.
could just call. He just comes
As I
and I'm
looked
just gonna
behind
kill
me,
you. Like,
Susie was gone. A few seconds later, she comes back with a knife and said, "Either he's going to get you or I will." I started flipping out and thinking, what am I going to do? I can't die right here. Just in that moment, I heard a commanding voice saying, "Back away from the door or we'll shoot."
his mom called the police.
Fuck, so I swung open the door, and there was the police. One of the police officers told Susie to drop the knife because when I took my eyes off of her and I opened the door, she was right behind me, like literally right behind me. But the officer saying that must have scared her, and she dropped the knife immediately.
Wow.
Apparently, while all this was going on, my mom called the cops and explained the
Good old
situation the best she could.
OhMyItsEli.
She pretended to be asleep so she wouldn't cause attention to herself and could get help as fast as she could.
Man.
The police arrested both of them and took them to the station. Apparently, the guy that was there was her cousin.
Yep.
And the whole time the movie was playing, she was texting him, telling him to come over and quote unquote, deal with me. I'm just happy that I'm still here today. My mom saved my life. I don't even want to imagine what they would have done with me.
Man. Yeah, you'd have got fucked up. You got fucked up real bad. I had a similar situation happen to me like that, but not that
My name
bad.
is
But
Chris,
I'll talk about
and
it.
this happened to me in the late 1970s. I grew up in a poor neighborhood in Calgary, Alberta. And like most young
Damn
kids,
it.
I had a number of friends from school and the neighborhood. I was 13 at
Good
the
thing I
time.
don't have to really look
This
at
was right at the
anything.
very beginning of the personal home computer revolution. You would hear about personal computers on the news all the time. However, no one actually owned a home computer. And it was almost like a story of science fiction to actually see one. One day, my friend started talking about this university professor who moved into one of our duplexes near our school. He was supposed to be a really cool guy who had all kinds of gadgets in his apartments. And he actually
weird, this
owned a personal computer.
Hurt my ears now.
One afternoon, when walking home from school, I was crossing through a park near the professor's house. From the second floor balcony of the duplex, I saw some of my friends and they waved to me to come over, so I did. The teacher lived on the second floor of a 2-story duplex and looked the part of
Can
a teacher
imagine
with
how this
shaggy
going
hair,
in.
beard, and glasses. At the time, I was too young and naive to see the warning signs about this guy. He lived alone in a 3-bedroom duplex apartment. He said he had a girlfriend, but we never actually saw any woman ever at the apartment when me and my friends were there. He had a lot of
lying
camera
ass.
equipment. and developed his own film. Most importantly, he was a computer science teacher when the field was pretty brand new, and he had built a home computer from scratch. My friends and I thought he was the coolest guy we ever met. He had all kinds of games on his computer, and he allowed any of the young guys in the neighborhood to pop by and play on his computer. He also had all kinds of weird gadgets and experiments. He had one of those Jacob Ladder lightning arc gadgets you'd see in those old horror movies. He always seemed to have some new gadget he was making. It wasn't long before we were going over this teacher's house to play on the computers or see his weird gadgets all the time. Sometimes he'd get very physical and grab one of us from behind and bear hug us when he was greeting us. Or he'd stand uncomfortably close to us. After a few months, we were getting
I would definitely be
about this
like,
guy. He didn't seem to
personal
have any
space,
family or
social
friends.
distance.
Sometimes, when there were a lot of kids at his apartment and he was distracted, we would snoop around and look in his cabinets and things like that. We'd find weird items like a pair of brass knuckles, handcuffs, and some beads that looked like they were supposed to be white, but they had dried up brown stuff on them. And the door to his bedroom was always locked. One day, when there was a lot of kids there, he put on some music.
This motherfucker got
He
anal
always
beads.
puts on music, but
Shit,
this time it wasn't top 40 music.
He need
like
to
he
clean
usually
them
put
off.
on. It was like folk music of some kind. My buddy and I were already suspicious at this point, and while everyone was having fun on the computer or hanging with the teacher, we listened to the lyrics of the music. It was hard to make out the lyrics over all the raised voices in the room, but it became very clear that the lyrics was about homosexuality. My buddy and I freaked out, as it hit us at the same time that this guy might like kids in a way that wasn't right. We quickly made an excuse to leave and went home and told our parents of our suspicions. My father freaked out and told us never to go over that guy's place again. We also put the word out on the street, and pretty quickly everyone became weary of this guy.
Put the word out on the
However,
street.
one of my friends from our block, Danny, he thought we were all wrong, and he kept going to see this teacher.
Fucking
One day,
Danny.
Danny stopped coming to school, and the rumor was that something bad happened to him by that guy with the computers. Danny moved away, and not long after,
man.
so did the teacher. I can't tell you how lucky me and my buddies felt to have stopped going to that guy's house before something happened to us.
Sheesh.
Years later, when I was in my early 20s,
Danny got fucked
I
up.
took a course
Literally.
at the university on computer programming. One night, my buddy and I were in the computer lab, and we were testing out a new program I wrote. When who walks into the lab? That old guy. This time, both my buddy and I stood up and yelled at that guy to get away from us. He quickly left, and other people in the lab asked what was going on. We told him what happened years ago. I don't know if someone reported him, but we never saw him at the university again after that.
Dude just moving, blaze the place, fuck on kids. Sound like some another organization we know that does that.
My name is Chris, and this took place 4 years ago when I was 17. It was a cold December
Jeez,
day,
not
and I
both
made
my
plans
eyes
with my buddy to
water.
hang out for the night. So I got off of work at around 6 p.m., and it was already getting dark outside. On my way to my car, I noticed a car in the parking lot just sitting there, but the windows were so tinted that I didn't think anyone was in it. So I proceeded to go to my car. So I get set to go home. I start my car, then I looked over at the car again, and this time, I saw it had the lights on, but I didn't think anything of it, so I pulled off and went home. As I get home, I see the same car going down my street. I remember telling myself, okay, this is weird. But again, I didn't think anything of it. I went inside my house and then took a shower. I got ready for the night. I left, and I normally don't drive to my friend's place, but it was 2 blocks away. So I decided on walking. I went on to my friend's house, and I told him about what happened. He told me that was odd, but we began smoking and playing some music when we noticed a car rolling down the street, and it parked. It was too dark to tell the color of the car, so he just assumed it was his neighbor. We continued on with our night, and it was about 1 a.m. Then I left. I shook his hand and said, "See you later." He said, "Be safe," and I began on my 5 to 10 minute journey. When I started walking up the block, a car started and began pulling out. I didn't pay attention to it because what were the chances something was up with that car? However, I started speed walking, and that's when the car sped up and pulled up right next to me. I didn't hesitate at all, and I started running. But before I did, 3 people got out of the car and they yelled, "Hey." When I looked at them, they all had on black, and they were wearing some sort of mask or something. While I was running, I heard the car doors slam, and the driver started speeding up. I was only 2 blocks away, but I wasn't going straight back to my house to lead them there. So I took a back street and I kept running. This is where the situation became bad to worse. One of them yelled out the window and said, "If you don't stop running, we'll shoot." I didn't know what they wanted with me. I was just scared for my
fuck
life.
you, I'm
So
still
I hopped
running.
the fence and I dipped into somebody's backyard. The people
Think you are the police?
started to look for me, but I was hidden beside a bush, and I just stayed quiet. They had their phones out using it as a light source, but the homeowner turned their lights on the account of hearing noises outside. The homeowner came out and saw the people and said, "I'm calling the police." The people wearing the mask hopped back in their car and sped off. After they left, I came out of the bush and I scared the homeowner. I explained the situation and we both laughed. The homeowner was a nice elderly man that invited me in for some water and to wait for the police. The police finally got there and we both explained to them what had happened. It turns out that these people were roaming around the area robbing people, and they wore masks to conceal their identities. This isn't the first time the police heard of this. I thanked the elderly man, and the cops gave me a ride home. I got home and locked all my doors and got in bed. All I have to say is, just be sure.
And then he looked under his bed, and they were there.
Maybe watching you.
Oh man. What a 4 stores? I don't know. I thought it was just 3.
I live in a woodland area where there's only 5 houses that are around me. So when the night falls, I'm used to seeing the glowing eyes of animals, hearing the sound of twigs and leaves crunching from animals, and yes, the calls too. But this event is still carved into my mind. Back on June 23rd of 2017, and around midnight, my cat wanted to go outside because he had to go use the bathroom, and we didn't like for him to use the litter box. Now, my cat usually spends around 15 to 20 minutes outside, which is usual for her because she loves to play out there. But when I went to the front door to let her in, since it was time to let her in, she wasn't there. It was about 1 in the morning, and I get a little worried, so I go outside and I called her name. So I walk around my front yard, and then I find her sitting there, looking out into the woods. Nothing too serious. She probably just saw a possum go by. But that's not it. That's not it at all. As soon as I leaned back up, everything went silent. No crickets chirping, no tree frogs,
No dogs
no
barking.
wind blowing, nothing. Besides me breathing, and then I saw it. A black, tall figure, roughly around 6 to 7 feet tall, dart behind the trees.
Damn.
I picked up my cat and I sprinted to the house.
The
We went
fuck was
inside,
that?
locked all the doors, turned off all the lights besides the hallway, and I grabbed my flashlight and went back to where I saw that thing. And at the same spot, all the noises came back, and I shined the light where the black, tall figure was. Nothing. I asked one of my neighbors if they were in our yard. He asked me, "Why the hell would I be in your yard?" I went back home and I still questioned if it was a person, a shadow creature, or just my mind playing a trick on me. To this day, I still wonder
And
if
they
it
would
was
sound like
something
me.
or someone in my yard.
Oh boy. Why the hell would I be in your yard? Why did I visualize that when he said that? And then he just turned around, walked off, and didn't say anything else. Oh man. Oh, those are good. Those are good stories. But the first one, when I said this, I had a similar situation, except not quite as Well, no, actually, nowhere near that bad. Like, it wasn't like I was getting it from both ends with somebody trying to kill me. There was a female I was involved with, and oh, we was having an argument. I don't even remember. It's funny how you have arguments and you don't remember what they were about because they like nothing fights. They like nothing. Like they don't mean that you had a disagreement or something. Yeah, I remember one time I got a girl was, like kept arguing with me every little thing, and I was like, "What's wrong with her?" Because we were fine the day before, and then she just kept arguing, kept yelling. She told me the next day that she was mad because we hadn't had sex yet, and I'm like, I was like, what? Like, I was like, so you slapped me in my face. Like she slapped me a few times like, at her house, like pushing me, and then she would do this. She pushed me, walk away, and then I'm standing. I'm like, all right. And then I kind of just kept my distance. And she would come and try to like cuddle up next to me, and then push me, slap me. I'm like, what the? And when I found that out, I was like, this bitch is crazy. Like, I was like, that is the most insane thing I've heard. I mean, I've heard guys being kind of like they want to be with have sex with a chick, and they're making them wait, and they might be like, they get not like that where they hit her or something like that. They might just get like kind of frustrated or whatever like that because they want to have sex, but you could just say that's sexual frustration. But this was different than that, and I was like, what? Are you crazy? And like, it wasn't me stopping it. I was like, I was like, I mean, we always meeting at each other's houses, and at the time, neither one of us lived on our own, so we couldn't, really do anything. Which is funny because even though years later after that, I did a whole lot with some girls. I was living with my father. A whole lot in an apartment, mind you, a 2-bedroom apartment. Still figured out how to get away with a bunch of stuff, but at this time I couldn't really do it. But also at that time I had my own car, so that was the first time I had my own car, and I was able to drive and do whatever I wanted to do in the house. Now I can do what I want now, but still, at that time living with somebody else, especially a parent, this is a lot different. But anyway, this chick, not that story, but this chick called. We was having an argument. I can't remember for life me what the argument was about. I don't remember. It might have been about being on the phone because I hate talking on the phone. I hate it, and that's happened actually quite a few times. Now that I think about it, with girls where they want to be on the phone for like hours and hours, and I'm like, especially if we live in the same place or near each other. I'm like, we don't need to talk on the phone. Like we can come see each other. It's not a long distance relationship, But even then, I hate talking on the phone. But this time it was not a long distance relationship, and we were getting an argument because I got off the phone. I was on the phone for like 3 hours or something like that, and I just told her I gotta go because I didn't feel like being on the phone anymore. And I could tell her voice then that she was upset. And I'm thinking that that had to be it because that happened right before this fight, so that had to be the reason. But plus it was nothing else. We didn't get in the argument about anything else, so that had to be it. But anyway, we got in an argument. Sitting there arguing. I just left because I'm the type of person I just leave. Like I'm not gonna sit and just keep arguing with you. I'm out. I left. I think I got maybe a few miles down the road, and then she calls me, apologizing and stuff, and want me to come back. And I was like, okay. So I come back because I ain't wanted to, because it ended, angrily. So I come back, and we sitting there. She's kind of quiet. She answering my question like one word, and then I was like, okay, maybe she was apologizing. And I said, I didn't understand like why now all of a sudden this, yeah, like I was like, okay. A car pulls up and a guy gets out. Now, mind you, I hadn't met this guy. Found out it was her brother. He comes up and he looked like he might have been. He looked like he might have been a bit older than me because he had like a full beard and stuff. But he was like, he looked like he might have been about the same size because this was back in the day. So I was like, at that time, I think I was about 225, maybe 220, and this guy like he might have been about the same size as me. He was a little bit. I think he's a little bit shorter than me, but he probably like 6 foot, maybe 5'11", and he gets out. He gets out of his car. I didn't know who that was. I was like, who was this? And he gets in my face. He just instantly gets right in my face. Talking about some disrespect to my sister. I was like, and right then and there, I thought about fucking him up. Just to start. Just don't even say anything. Just start swinging. Because he had already got in arm's reach. And I didn't know him. And normally, especially like that, walking up on me, I just start swinging. You get in arm's reach. Like that. Especially if it's an aggressive manner. And I didn't even say anything. I just, because I said, this is going to escalate. I got up. I looked at her. Well, first I looked up, I looked at her and looked at him, and I was like, she called me back for this shit. She called me back to get in some type of altercation with her brother, or confrontation with her brother. So I just got up and I started walking my car. They cursing and stuff like that. She mainly cursing. He just like, yeah, you better leave. He's saying shit like that. I was like, and this dude, he kicked like the front fender in my car. Like when I got it and started up, it just when I like put it in gear to back up to go reverse. He kicked the front of my car. I slammed no brakes, and I was like, I thought about getting out, and I said, nah. This is because he really tried to make my simplicity kid who fuck cares. Because he didn't do me damage. And when I was backing up, and when I backed out into the street, I was looking like this because I backed out like this into the street because to go that way down the road. He turned and walked back towards her. I saw, because he had like a shirt, he had like a white t-shirt on and a shirt over it. And I saw he like reached back and he had a gun in his, like tucked in the back of his pants. I was like, wow. Like, yeah, that could have went horrible. I was like, good thing that I just left because this dude, I was like, first that was weird that if you got a gun, especially you bring a gun, you plan on using it. Why would you get it in my face like we're going to fight? Like you would think you keep your distance so you can pull the gun, but I saw that and I was like, wow. I deleted that girl's phone out of my phone immediately. Just deleted it. And we ain't even been talking that long, but we went on, I think we went on like 2 or 3 days, but mainly we just hanging out. Man, that shit, that was crazy. That situation. But this dude had like this chick basically called a hit out in his ghetto. So he's here to do something to get rid of you. That made me think like her whole family is just fucking crazy. Like they just killers. And if she gets a knife, so she's a killer. Or they got some type of like I keep feeling like something on my lip. Like they just got some type of hereditary mental issue or something. I don't know. Do mental? I don't even know if mental illness can be hereditary for different things. I don't know, but that shit, that's crazy because now you just do it outside the door. You can't let him in. This chick's inside. She got a knife. So you just stuck. Like, that is the craziest thing ever. And that other one, what was it? The third one with the pedophile one. When I was young, it was in multiple cases where I've heard parents like, don't go around that guy. No, don't go around him. Don't go around. I even had. I remember when I was really young. Uh, I remember it was a woman. I think I was like maybe 6, something like that, and it was like, don't go around her house. And I remember just overhearing my dad say she messed with kids or something like that. And I didn't really know. I was like, mess with kids, and I'm thinking like she is just annoying the children because I remember it was this Asian guy who lived across the alley from us, and he hated kids. Like he was always yelling and cursing. And then one day out of the blue, he was just real nice. He was like, oh, he's nice out of nowhere. I don't know why. I mean, he wasn't a pedophile, but he was just nice. And from then on, he was just nice to us. But before that, he hated kids. And then my dad was saying he was racist because he would only do that to a black kid. But I was like, well, this is a predominantly black community. There's no Asian people over. Besides, he's the only Asian guy here. And there's a few white people in this neighborhood, but it's predominantly black. So I mean, I was like he could move. I guess he don't want to be around black people. But yeah, that situation was crazy. When I saw that gun, cause I was like this close to just swinging on him, and I was like, and I let cooler heads prevail. And luckily, nobody got hurt, and I didn't get shot, or I had to take his gun and shoot him. Oh, but anyway, hope y'all enjoyed my reaction. And if you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button down below. Be sure to subscribe if you're new here. Hit that bell if you want to be notified when I upload new videos. Share this video. Comment down below. Whew. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.